Here.
Duberstein. Here. Koval. Here. And Williams.
Here. We have quorum. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Richmond. Aye. Priest.
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Koval.
Aye.
And Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, we move to swearing in, not at. George Duberstein. Don't have any old ones?
Oh, has to take a picture.
Kelly can take pictures if you can just forward it to him.
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll do that.
I got it.
Yeah.
All right. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me, please. I state your name.
I, George Duberstein,
Having been appointed to the office
having been appointed to the office
of village trustee
of village trustee
in the village of Hainesville,
in the village of Hainesville,
in the county of Lake,
in the county of Lake,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of said office
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of said office
of the village of Hainesville
of the village of Hainesville
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Okay, we now have the presentation of the management letter by Scott Termine of Corvus, which is part of our audit. Can you hear us, Scott?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. You're on.
Thank you, Mayor. So as we closed out the audit and presented the financial statements last month, Kelly and the mayor asked that I cover the second deliverable that you received as part of the audit tonight after you had some additional time to review it. This letter is a required communication under auditing standards to you, the board, as the group charged with governance of the village. This provides you with a summary of our responsibility when conducting the audit on the first page, and it clarifies the inherent limitations of an audit, whereby we can only provide reasonable rather than absolute assurance about the financial statements because we don't test every transaction. So as you go to page 2, we get into various matters such as significant accounting policies, where we note again, as we did with our financial statement opinion, that the village did adopt a new accounting standard related to leases for fiscal year 23. And then as you move to page 3, we highlight some significant accounting estimates and disclosures that were included in the financial statements, and then get into more specifics of the new lease accounting standard there. Towards the bottom of page 3 and into page 4, we discuss adjustments that were identified during the audit. We have included those as an attachment to the letter. And we include both entries that we proposed and that management recorded, as well as some immaterial items that we agreed with management not to post since they're just insignificant to the financial statements overall. And those are also attached to our letter for you. At page 5 of the document, we get into a discussion of our consideration of internal controls. So within the letter here, we did have 2 repeat comments from the prior year report that relate to internal controls. Since these are not new, and I know you all received the reports before the meeting, I won't get into the specifics of those right now. But lastly, I'll just call to your attention that on page 7, we do know that there are various new accounting pronouncements that will impact the village in the coming years. The next one that is due to impact the current fiscal year ending April 30th, 2024, relates to subscription-based information technology arrangements. This standard applies similar accounting as is used for the new lease standard to those subscription-based technology arrangements. So I'm going to pause there and just see if anyone has any questions for me or anything that you'd like me to get into further detail about. I'm happy to cover any of those for you.
Trustees, questions? None, Scott.
All right, well then, just thank you again for your time and attention here tonight, and hope you all have a good evening.
Scott, before you go, will you remember to reach out to Kelly so we can schedule that appointment for the three of us to sit down?
Yep, absolutely. We can talk through that then as far as that new standard goes.
All right. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
He dropped out. Already did. Public comments. Ms. Anderson.
Okay. I just wanted to know, for our village, if it's possible to create compost collection to take away that from the landfills and put it into, like, I don't know, near a garden or some place. I couldn't find anyone to talk to it with Groot. I think Groot is our waste management for the villages, but I know other villages do have some type of collection where they compost food waste and such. Could we look into that? Or would that
I'll tell you one thing that we looked into, and then George or Georgianne, if you have anything from Swallow to add. Our previous group just became our hauler, I think, within the last 6 months or so. Prior to that, the company we had tried to start a food scrap recycling program. We put that information out to the village, and one person signed up. And so the company was willing to provide her with the container and pickup, and that fell through on the consumer's end. So as far as composting, we don't have a physical site that we own that I can think of off the top of my head where we could do any regular drop-off. But that's my take on it right now.
I do have one comment. Last year, and we'll probably do it again this year, yeah, I think you can talk to that. We had an actual compost available that people could pick up and put on their own property. You want to say anything more?
And we'll plan to do that again. We had a big pile of compost that people could come with buckets and take some away. And it worked out very well. It was very well received, not only by our village, but other village residents came as well. The date isn't set up for that yet, but we will announce it when we do.
There hasn't been shown, at least to us, a lot of resident interest in something like this. We're not opposed if we can work out the details, but at this point, you're the second person in about 6 years.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you so very much for your time.
You're more than welcome.
Thank
And you are more than welcome to stay for the whole meeting, but feel free to leave if you so choose.
Thank you so much. I'll be back next time. Thank you so very much.
Just a question for our Swalco experts. Are the Swalco collection places that are located within other municipalities, is that open for any Lake County resident to use? Because at the Grays Lake Swalco site, they have a food scrap bin that's ready to drop off. It's over by Frederick School off 83. You can also drop off their strings of holiday lights, so they do not go.
drop off some water pipes over there? Okay.
But, you gotta ask.
Did you get that, Ann?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right. I'm sorry, I missed it.
No, I said you gotta ask the experts. The swell code.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Richmond,
Aye.
George Duberstein,
Aye.
Priest,
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein,
Aye.
Hopel, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, reports and discussion, finance.
Yes, just a couple more items. Well, with Scott presenting the report tonight, tomorrow we'll be able to wrap up the audit, get all our filings in where we need to.
Kelly, is your mic on?
Yeah, the green light's there. Can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay, I got to be closer. Okay, so we'll wrap up the audit, legal filings tomorrow. I'm well into the budget preparation right now. I received all back and I'm starting to input and go through that process. So hopefully we'll get a draft in the next few weeks. Phone training, as you recall, we were doing switching of the phone system. We had in-person via Zoom last week for a little bit. We'll have an in-person training session tomorrow for an hour, and we're hoping to go live shortly thereafter, making sure all the little bugs are worked out before we do go live. Our phone number will stay the same, but we are discontinuing having a fax line. It's just been basically used as solicitation to us of, free cruises. And let's see, what else is on? Oh, our server project, the new server was installed today, but not up and running yet. The first step is to get it installed. They're still working behind the scenes. We will target a Friday for a migration date, so those dates are to be determined still. But that project is moving along as well, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Public Works, Wally.
Yeah, yes. Tim, Israel, and myself, we met with Robinson Engineering, Greg Toff, and John Rucker, and to go over the SOP, or the emergency SOP, I should say, plan, which is an operations plan.
Yes, there's an SOP for our students, stands for?
Standard operating procedure, and the E would be the emergency standing operating procedure in case we lost communications between our well houses and our water tower and everything else. What we have to do to basically keep the water moving into the water tower, I should say. And so what they came up with a written plan, and what we did is we went over it, went through each well house, and we took it and just showed exactly what was going to happen or what needs to happen to make sure that we can manually pump water into our system if we lose any communications or between the two, when we have some major breakdown. So we went through both well houses. Tim and Israel, they looked at it and said it was the best thing that they, because of the fact that they didn't know that much about the water supply system, and it helped them a lot, I should say. Talked with Greg Toft, I should say. And what he did is we made some modifications of some of the things that we found when we went through the procedure, and he's going to make the changes on it. He's going to laminate it. There's going to be a copy of it in each well house, given also to the mayor and kept in the office, and also with the public works superintendent. And that's about it.
You have to understand that the village works on wells from aqueducts. We don't have Lake Michigan water. Our water is purer than that. And so we have to be sure that our wells are working and all the lift stations are doing whatever they need to do for the sewers and whatever, just so you understand.
Okay, I want to add something to the Public Works report. I shared some of this with you on Saturday, but since Public Works really had to step up, what was it, Friday night? It was a cold, dark, stormy night. Got a call, my wife got a call from a friend of ours that lives on Deer Lake, that sewage, and I'll just refer to it throughout this as brown water, and brown it was. She's on the tri-level that it was coming up from her downstairs shower stall. And she's been through this before. She quickly got some family and some shop vacs and started sucking it up in the shop vacs. And then one team would draw it up, fill one container, haul it outside while they were filling another one. This started at about 6:30 in the evening. She gave me a call. I called Tim at home. He called Israel. Came to the shop to get a piece of equipment called a jetter, which what causes this backflow is somewhere in a sewer line, sanitary line. It's gotten clogged, and the groundwater can't flow. So her house is in a low spot, so she gets to collect all the stuff. They took the jetter out there, and when they fired it up, a hose snapped off that made it useless. We called our plumbing contractor, K&M Plumbing. They were out within an hour and hooked their jetter up and started firing it up, and their line was froze. A jetter is a machine that fires water through a long hose. Their line was frozen. They had to take it back to the shop here to thaw it out. All this time, people are at this house sucking up groundwater, hauling it through the house and dumping it. Eventually, Dave Schultz was in the shop working on bills, and he came along. We got the other, and I was out there. They got the K&M jetter thawed out, brought it back out. We knew where the blockage was. They worked on it and got blew out the blockage. In my conversation with the homeowner, she informed me that this was about the 6th time that it's happened over a number of years. I've been aware of it, and I always thought I didn't think well enough on this, and I promised her this time that we would get it fixed. Ken Barth of K&M Plumbing is going to meet with Tim and myself in the near future. Tim and I looked at, on our GIS, the structure of our sewer lines where it gets blocked, and it's a T right at Lisk and Hunter's Way Drive, and there's groundwater coming this direction, groundwater coming this direction, and it's supposed to flow that way, and it got blocked there. So I'll be looking for a recommendation from our water people and from the plumbing company, and it may entail rerouting some of the sewer lines to eliminate the T, make softer turns. The resident was pleased that we were out there and helpful. She was very patient, considering she's gone through this. The boys, the gentlemen, public works guys got out there around 7, and they checked out at midnight. And there was a lot of crawling around on the ground to get this stuff taken care of. But they did it. They did a good job. Yes, they get overtime pay for it, but it was a miserable night. And that's my update for that. All right, Georgianne, let's go with the transportation report. Microphone. And then we can turn the TV and camera off.
Okay.
Let me get it up for you. Can you see the screen okay, or do I need to do this?
Figure out how to get here without killing myself or knocking anything over. Lake County
Use the microphone, ma'am.
Lake County Transportation Alliance is an organization made up of businesses, villages, a number of different organizations. And they have an annual meeting, and they had it on Zoom. And a lot of their work is done going down to Springfield and book, bills that are being passed or things that they would like to have bills made dealing with transportation in Lake County. And Hainesville is a member of that organization. They had, at the meeting, they had members from federal agencies,
Let me know when you want a slide change.
okay, the RTA, Metra, PACE, Illinois Department of Transportation, Lake County Department of Transportation, and even our Senator Dick Durbin and Representative Brad Snyder also spoke at this meeting. So it had a lot of information. But I'm primarily going to deal with stuff that affects Lake County. Otherwise, we'd be here for days. It shows that modernization is going to be a big part of what the plans are for the next few years from 2023 to 28. And the most important things for us is that Hainesville Road from Washington to Rollins is supposed to be modernized. The center lanes they're going to have center lanes, turn lanes, like the way they have Washington from Hainesville Road to Cedar Lake Road. So we'll be able to not have all the traffic backed up if somebody wants to turn into their driveways or whatever. The other thing that's on the books is Rollins Road is going to be modernized. There'll be more center lanes put in on Rollins Road, and that's scheduled for 2026. Okay, the next one. Cedar Lake Road has been a mess forever. And if you ever try to go east on Nippersink and have to deal with Cedar Lake Road, especially in rush hour, you take your life in your hands because their cars are coming from your right, their cars that are coming straight ahead. It's a mess. So they're planning on doing a realignment. It's kind of hard to figure out all this here, but the most important thing, I think, is that there's going to be a traffic light at Nippersink and Cedar Lake Road, so we don't have to take our lives in our hands anymore. Okay. This just shows the different projects that, if you're interested in what's happening with transportation and the different projects, you can go to LC.Lake County Department of Transportation, ecointeractive.com, and then you can see if you just put in the street that you're interested in, and it'll come up with the project and when it's going to be and how much it is and all that. So I just wanted you to have that information. I just wanted you to be aware of the funding sources. Most of it comes from RTA sales tax, but there's motor fuel tax, the feds give some money. There are a number of different sources that provide the money for us to deal with the transportation here in Lake County. What's nice is Metra used to have, I don't know how many different zones, so that if you bought a ticket, for example, when we would buy a ticket in Grays Lake, the ticket price is different at Prairie Crossing, which is, like nothing away. So now they brought it down to just 4 zones. And I don't expect you to know all the pricing and everything, but I just wanted you to know that they've reduced the zones, and I think that's going to make it better. And also, they're now going to have automated machines at all the stops, so you can get tickets whenever, and hopefully they work. Okay. Rye Lake County. Rye Lake County is something that has been in the works for 20 years. There was an organization called Lake County Consolidated Transportation Services Committee, LCCTSC, which I was a member for a number of years. And the object was to try and put together county-wide paratransit service, which is for the disabled and seniors. Well, last year was the year that it finally happened, which is amazing when you think, that you can be around long enough to see what you've been working on for so long actually happen. So in the first year, they had over 27,000 trips, and it's growing all the time. And there are different ways that, what it is that somebody will pick you, the little bus will pick you up at the curb and take you where you need to go. And one of the problems was that it would take so long to get there because you have so many people on the bus. But I think they're working out transfer points so that it's not going to take quite as long as it used to. But it's a wonderful thing. Now, this on-demand is something that hardly anybody knows about. I don't know why they haven't publicized it more. It's a great thing. Everybody can use this. All you have to do is call them, and up to an hour before you're ready to go somewhere, and they will come to your house and pick you up and take you where you need to go. And they have different transfer points because one bus isn't going to take you all the way into Highland Park, but they have transfer points. One of them is CLC. So if you're at CLC, there's a schedule of, I think there's another slide. This is our area, right in here. It's the Rom Lake area. And so people can go anywhere in that area. Just call and they'll pick you up and take you. And it's $2 each way. So it's a great thing. If you don't have a car, if your car is not working, if for whatever reason, it's a great thing that is open to everybody. The thing that, here's the list. I mean, you can look online on demand. It has the schedule. It has the schedule for the buses at CLC, so that you would know when to pick it up to take you wherever it is you need to go. Let me back up just for a second. The curb-to-curb service for the paratransit and seniors, it's $2 for the first 5 miles, $4 for 6 to 9 miles, and $6 for over 10 miles. So, but it's still so reasonable compared to having to take a cab or Uber or anything else like that. But on-demand is really amazing, and you can do it an hour ahead or 7 days ahead if you know that you have an appointment or something you need to do. There are 10 service points, and that you would have to look online to find out. There are additional charges if you're going to transfer from one outside of this area to another one. But our transportation plans are very dynamic. PACE, for example, introducing electric buses. I don't know that they'll have all of them this year, but they're planning to transfer over to electric buses. So I'm really proud of the things that the transportation in Lake County has accomplished, and I'm happy to give you all that information.
Any questions? Okay. Once you sit back down, Georgianne, you want to go into grade agents welcome?
Sure. Okay, I chair the Great Age Club, which is for our seniors 60 and over. It's a great age to be a senior. That's how it got its name. Oh, and I named it Bride Lake County, just for you to know. We're having a speaker from Oak Street Health come to our next meeting. We meet on the first Thursday of the month at 10:30 in the morning here. And if you have grandparents that aren't working and would like some social activity, they're welcome to come and join us. We usually have a speaker or a movie, or we play games, or we just sit and visit. And then, of course, we go out for lunch. We have other activities, a progressive dinner. We've worked together as a group to go to different plays and other activities.
And of course, all that information is on our website.
Yes. So it would be great if, pass the word along to any of the neighbors or whoever you know. Anyone's welcome. So that's Swelco canceled their meeting for January. Swelco is the Solid Waste Association for Lake County. And they deal with recycling and the landfills, all that. So they canceled the meeting for January, but we scheduled a recycling event for Hainesville for the 20th of June. Haven't set up the times yet, but we've had it in the past and it's been very successful. I think we've had over 150 cars come through because we not only recycle paper, but stuffed animals, books, musical instruments, eyeglasses, hearing aids. I mean, just amazing the stuff that people bring.
Make sure we recycle some people.
Well, we have to make a list.
There.
Anyway, so, but June 20th will be a recycle event, and I haven't scheduled our compost event. And the other thing that we're going to have is sometime this year is a chemical recycling, because it's so hard when people have paint and things like that. They don't know what to do with it. You can't throw it down the sewer. It's just really deal with it. So we're going to have a recycling event for that. That's a mobile thing, and I think you have to set up an appointment. But
We'll advertise it when we get there.
you're all.
I just want to add one thing to that. That recycle event is also a document shredding event that we have as well. So
Oh, I made that assumption. Sorry.
Welcome back, George.
He used to be the
Yeah, in charge.
in
Now-
charge, and now I am.
All right,
And
moving
he's my
along.
assistant.
Ad hoc. Okay, George, we're going to jump right to you on ad hoc. Who keeps you when we come to mayor's report?
Yeah.
Did we have something else other than the? Okay.
All right, just two quick comments. As you know, I've continued to work on the emergency operation plan as a volunteer while I was off the board. There are some additional requirements now to finish this thing off. So I have scheduled a meeting with Chief Coordinator of at Lake County for this Thursday, so we can go over this whole thing. And assuming that they haven't moved the goalposts again, maybe we can put this into bed.
What's it been, 4 years?
I don't know, it's been a long
A
time.
long time.
But they keep changing people and they keep changing their requirements. Anyway, just a quick note. I was going to make a little report on the Civil War event that we got scheduled for October. The engineer company that usually works on that wanted to erect a 20-foot tall signal tower they could have during the battle. But I was a little concerned with the height and the security as well as the liability. Plus the fact they said it would take several weekends on site to build it, and then there would be nobody there to look after what they're doing. So we have a liability problem. So they came back with a 10-foot thing as well. And I got to talking to the mayor tonight, and we decided there's too much risk involved, so we're not going to do it.
All right, sir, thank you. Madam Clerk?
Nothing at this time.
Okay.
Congratulations to Christina for planning a very nice holiday party for the
Yes,
nations.
it was. On this topic, I want to talk to you from out front so you can, I can see you, you can see me. You've heard me speak about this before, but I want you to talk about this piece of land in front of the Public Works building. A week ago, I put pictures and a schematic that was drawn for us by Cole's landscape architects for no cost. Tonight, I want to present it to you not as a done deal, but as a concept. And when we're done tonight, I'd like to have 2 questions answered. One, do we want to proceed with the concept? Do we want to develop this piece of land into something more than it is now? And then 2, do we want to go out to bid for it? So, first let's talk about the concept. This was drawn up. Here's how this all started. Chris and Wally came up with the idea of using this space for Christmas display and possibly other things. We talked about a movie in the park. We talked about an Easter egg hunt. We talked about Christmas tree lighting. And we came up with Wally and Tim worked on a very basic design where we were going to put some berms at the 4 corners with some plantings. And Wally has spent a great deal of time working at Lord of Glory Church with their maintenance crew. And Holes, this particular company, did some work over there. Well, let's see, do I have that back up? Here is some of the work that they did at the church. Now, we're not talking about duplicating that, but this is an example of some of landscape architecture they did. Okay. On the schematic, and you also have the pictures of the various plants that would be included, or could be included. So, since you've had it for some period of time, I guess the first question that needs to be answered is, does the board, in fact, want to develop this into an area? The main plan would be, one of the main steps would be the food trucks would then be placed over here at the tip of the Public Works parking lot, where the where the 2 paths would be. Food trucks would be there. This would contain picnic tables, and it would be lit. We have, at least an initial plan, 3 different light poles that would be over there. I'm not saying we have to follow this. I personally like this particular concept, but it's going to be up to you folks. So, with that, questions, thoughts?
Do you have any idea of what the price of this thing might be?
Just what happens I do. As drawn by this company, not including the picnic tables nor the lights, $112,000. I have placed in the budget for discussion $160,000. Now, remember, this is very early in the budget stage, and it may not make it that far, it may get cut, kind of depends what you folks want. Questions, thoughts? Georgianne?
I think it'd be very nice to have something attractive in front of that building that is not terribly attractive in itself. And it's a street that's trafficked a lot, and it would be something that would enhance the image of Hainesville.
Thank you.
Be a nice addition to cover, would complement the
Gathering place?
gathering place on one side if we can have something like this on the other.
Would the area be open for residents to just stroll through?
Yes.
Is there any liability concerns with the public works equipment?
We are, part of our plan, one part of the budget planning is fencing in the back of the Public Works building and moving their equipment back there. Doug?
I would find it very hard to sell it to residents under 60,000 on a small project like that, when there's a lot of other needs that we can probably use that money for in the building.
Okay. Georgianne?
I don't think that we should use that number particularly, because if we're going to go out to bid, we could get anything that could be even under 100. So,
That's why I'm kind of talking about a concept.
Right.
I'm not asking for any promise of dollars tonight. Let's say we go out to bid. We could also do this in phases, but there are a number of trees in there that if we wanted to, through our contacts, we could get the trees, buy the trees and plant it probably for less than any landscape architect would provide them to us for. So maybe there's ways. Georgianne called me earlier this week, and the pinkish path was something called rotten granite. Georgianne said, well, what if we use limestone like we did in the gathering point? So I called the architect, and that would chop $2,800 off the bill.
One of the things is we were thinking of, when this concept came up, we were thinking that maybe our public works crew could do the landscaping, building the berms and everything else. And with the amount of employees and the work that needs to be done in here, it's probably not going to be feasible for us to be able to do it. And
Also, the expertise.
The expertise, right. And so that's why we went, and I made a mention to the mayor about this company in particular, because of the fact that I did the work with, I had worked with them. And like you said, it's just a concept. But the thing is, what I'm looking at is if we piece it, all of a sudden, you're going to have it look like this, for 1 year, and then the next year you're going to come back. And that doesn't mean that it's going to get cheaper. You see what I'm saying? It means if you get it done, and you just get it done once, and you're done. It's over and done. That lot has been empty, I don't know, well, forever. Okay, and it's been an eyesore, I think, forever. And this would just make it where it'd be a nice place for everybody that wants to be a part of this and have some special events going, that it would be a nice place for everybody to gather.
To address your concern about the resident and the expenditure of the money, let's say for the sake of the conversation, we stick with that $160,000. When we come up with the budget, when we start adjusting it, going through, presenting, talking to the board, that would be a good time to look at, is something else not getting done that we think the residents deserve? Or can we do the project, something over here, and still accomplish the other things that we feel, you feel, believe need to be done in the village?
The other thing you can look at is taking the same approach that we used when we cleared up Cranberry Lake, is that we had a 5-year program and the cost was based on, well, the cost for the whole 5 years turned out at the very beginning of the program, so that it didn't go up, as I recall, it didn't go up every year.
Something I forgot to mention is I met with Georgianne today. Derek Monaco, our new engineer from Gable, brought to my attention some grants that may be available for this. And I think the one you're looking at is a max. Georgianne volunteered to pursue the grant, to write it out. I think it's for $50,000 now. Grants are never a guarantee. Derek also gave us, applying for a grant that for this half of the village, we can use for trades. And that's there's different price amounts available, and we're looking at maybe applying for $60,000 to $80,000. That could be for new trees, planting trees, yes, not only in and around Cranberry Lake, but throughout this side of the village. So that's all there. Georgianne?
When Linda Soto was mayor, at the time, she and I decided to put in fountains in some of the ponds in the village. I was afraid that people were going to say, fountains? What do you need fountains for? Look at all the money you're spending. But what happened was, people said, why isn't there a fountain in my pond? So you can never really tell how the residents are going to react to something.
I also met with the director of the Brown Lake Area Park District last week to discuss this possibility. And he said there aren't a lot of grants that might be available. What he reminded me that we could reach out to our state senator and not local politician, Laura Fader Diaz and Mary Lee Allen for possible funding that way. Okay.
And also, Mayor, a thought that comes to mind, the University of Illinois Extension, the 4-H club and the Master Gardeners, we could talk to them for advice because they do a lot of work like that. Not that extensive, but they have the knowledge of plants and gardening and so forth. So that could be some professionals that we could talk to also.
Okay. So I'm left with the first question. Do we want to pursue the concept of turning that spot into something nicer than it is now? The final vote will come from the board, whatever project or amount we reach. So this isn't, you're not turning the keys over to me at this point.
I'd say yes.
I would go for doing something.
Okay?
Yes.
They need something.
I would still like to investigate more information. I mean, just do the homework and before I would say yes to that.
What kind of?
No, because right now it's I mean, I'm just, at that price alone, that takes me back.
Yeah, I understand.
So even if it's 100,000, that takes me back a bit.
Right, no, I'm not, I understand that, okay, but I'm just wondering is, what are the needs that the residents are looking for right now?
Well,
Do you know?
I have what I think the needs are, but that could be something we could ask the residents in the survey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so at least the majority is interested in pursuing the concept, getting more information. If the law indicates that any project, most projects over $25,000 should go out for bid. After talking to our attorney on this topic a number of times, we're not mandated to do that. But it'd be my belief that if whatever we end up doing, if it exceeds $25,000, my read is the board would prefer to go out to bid. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Okay, I got my two questions answered. Any other thoughts or comments on this topic before we move along?
When we go out to bid, that means each new contractor has to put out his own concept of what he's going to develop, how he's going to develop that. You can't go off of this.
Well, I don't agree with you 100%. Well, I talked to the gentleman who drew this plan, And I told him up front that if it's over 25,000, we would probably go out for bid. I told him that if in fact we go out for bid, my intent would be to offer this to others, but we will pay him, his company, for this plan. Therefore, if we do that, and I don't have the dollar figure on that, it becomes our property and it would be legal to share it with other people.
The other thing is, it depends on how you put the RFP together. If you're specific enough, they're gonna do what you ask them to do.
Yeah. Okay, so that's on the road. It may not make this upcoming budget year, but at least we have a direction to move. Okay? All right, thank you. All right, I need a motion for an ordinance amending the refuse collection rates in the village of Hainesville. New rates will be $22 a month and $19.80 a month for seniors in single-family residence.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Richmond,
Aye.
George Duberstein,
Aye.
Priest,
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein,
Aye.
Koval, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried. Ordinance number 24-1-355.
I need a motion to pass a resolution to appoint an alternate director for SWACO, which would be George Duberstein. Second. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Richmond,
Aye.
George Duberstein,
Do I have to recuse myself?
Probably be a good idea.
Okay, I abstain.
Priest,
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein, Koval, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried. Resolution number 24-1-174.
I need a motion to approve the Village of Hainesville Comprehensive Plan filing.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Richmond,
Aye.
George Duberstein,
Aye.
Priest,
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein,
Aye.
Koval, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you for that. I need,
We've been working on this for over a year, so
yeah,
it's a big deal to finally get it done.
I need a motion to approve a 12-month electric supplier contract not to exceed the supplier rate of 0.06940 per kilowatt hour. And under discussion, we'll have Kelly give you a better explanation. So motion?
So.
Second?
Second.
All right. Kelly, in English, please.
In English, the reason why we had to have not to exceed supplier rate of the 0.06940 is because I chose ComEd's current supplier rate for commercial properties as of the day of the packet that was going out. We work with an energy broker for years now, and our contract is expiring with one of the energy providers that they've given expires in March, so we're up for renewal, so we're looking for a one-year renewal. So as of this morning, when he sent me the latest, it looks like who they are recommending is who is still in the packet, the Illegal energy broker, and their rates are lower than what they proposed last week as well. It's 0.05780. So it will bring a savings to the village. Their estimated savings for the electric costs will reduce those costs for the supply and transmission for the village's 2 lift stations and our well houses. And approximately $2,700 in a year's time, we should save by going with this.
If the board votes to approve this tonight, the contract is on my computer, we can sign it and get that rate. The rate may go up tomorrow, it may go down. Any discussion?
I have a couple questions. What happens if the rate goes up tomorrow?
It'll be signed tonight, it counts.
Okay.
He even assured me if we sign it first thing in the morning, we'll be locked into the rate that he just provided today.
For how
This
long?
energy. It'll be a 1 year.
A 1 year?
Yes, just a 1 year. The last one we had was a 4 year.
And that would be the constant rate, because I know that varies.
Correct. So the supply and transmission portion of the electric bill will be constant with this.
Why would it not include our streetlights?
It never did, and I'm trying to remember why.
I'm sorry, include our budget.
Our streetlights. I don't have that answer, but it never allowed streetlights. Our village hall, our public works building has free services for being a municipality, so we don't get a bill on that. It's the lift stations and wells, probably because we have to charge residents on their utility bills for the water usage in that, and that's all the water processing. So that's how we get the rate on those two. But the streetlights, I don't remember.
We did.
Oh, the streetlights are less. Those are differently billed per kilowatts.
We got a big reduction when we went to LED lights for our streetlights. It made a huge difference.
All right, any further discussion on the motion?
Yeah, I've got a question. Surprise, surprise. I noticed from the materials we were given that this, with this one company, goes out 4 years. But then there's another block for another company in the 5th year. Are we even, well, number one, why is it not going for a full 5 years, number one? And number two, do we then have a separate contract with this other company in the 5th year, or was it just shown there for whatever?
I'm confused about what you're saying with the 5th year, but we could have only gone with a 1-year contract right now for this type of proposal due to the fact that the mayor's term expires next
I can't sign a
spring.
contract beyond my.
There's
term.
a few different contracts that we can't
Okay.
do.
I was just looking at that graph you had, which just showed blocked out 4 years. So this is just a 1-year contract?
Only
This is just a
because
12
I can't
month.
sign it.
Okay.
No, beyond my term. I don't think you want me back anyway.
Well.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
There's no term limits.
Mental limit. Okay. Roll call, please.
Trustees Richmond. Aye. George Duberstein.
Aye.
Prince.
Aye.
Jordan Duberstein.
Aye.
Koval. Aye. And Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. I need a motion to enter exec session to discuss a personnel issue.
So moved.
Second. All right. We'll be going back to the conference room for this exec session. We will return. There will be one business item to take a vote on after we return. For the board, I'm going to give the students a chance to get their picture with me now. Then they can go home and study. Yeah, okay. All right. So did we take a vote on that, on the exec session? Then all in favor?